Are you ready to take bold action and live a life of brilliance? Welcome to the Bold and Brilliant podcast, where women leaders share inspiring stories about daring decisions that shape their businesses, their lives, and their careers. Today, I'm with the fabulous and amazing Suszi McFadden. Suz McFadden is an award-winning portrait photographer based in Sunnyvale, California. She strives to make her clients feel strong, powerful, and beautiful the moment they walk in the door and hold on to that feeling long after they leave. Suszi specializes in beauty portraits and in headshot and brand photos, and her work has been displayed in galleries, published in international magazines, and included in New York Times best-selling books. Still, the most gratifying recognition is from her happy clients. As we talk, you'll hear Suszi share her journey of entrepreneurship, including one bold decision that created her path of what was next. Her story of resilience, risk-taking, and transformation will inspire, encourage, and support your personal and professional growth. Please join me in welcoming Suszi to the Bold and Brilliant podcast. Suszi, I'm so excited to have you on the podcast. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Yay. Okay. I'm super stoked because we've been connected for a couple of years, and I'm realizing, because we all have rich lives, I'm realizing that there's things about you becoming who you are now that I know some of the story, but I don't know all of the story. So for people who've never even met you, let's go back a little bit.
Okay.
And talk about, who is Suszi? Where did you start out? Like, where did you grow up? And maybe how you got into photography.
I love it. Great. You want me to just jump in and start bioing?
Tell me a story.
Fantastic. I live in Sunnyvale, California now. Took me a while to get here. I grew up in Southern California, suburb of Los Angeles, and came up to go to UC Berkeley when I was straight out of high school, I guess, and fell in love with the Bay Area. Called my parents after 3 weeks and said, I'm never coming home.
Never coming home.
Which is like, now that all of my friends' kids are going to college, I'm like, oh my God, I didn't even think about how that would sit with my parents. I got here and went, I am a Northern California girl. I am done staying here, never coming home.
How was it different from where you grew up in Southern California? And Southern California has, the entire gamut, soup to nuts of all of the different opportunities. How was the Bay Area different?
So I grew up in a suburb that I felt like I knew everybody since I was 5. Yeah. And I was just ready to get out. I was ready to be kind of my own person. There's a Bay Area vibe, and I just don't know how to articulate that for people who don't know the Bay Area. But I came up here and it was just freer and looser and more casual and a little more hippy dippy. And a lot of it, like, if I really think about it, a lot of it it's where I became an adult.
Sure.
Right. So I could have gone anywhere, quite possibly, and said, okay, this is me forging my own path, and I love it here.
You were ready to create this adult identity for yourself.
Right. And I knew from a very young age I wanted to go to Berkeley. So it was just one of those kind of, I got there. I was very lucky. It's much harder to be a high school senior right now than it was back in my day. And I got to go there, and it was everything I wanted it to be. And I just fell in love with the Bay. So I lived in the East Bay for a number of years and graduated from college with a liberal arts degree, didn't know what I wanted to do, got very lucky that a company looked at my extracurriculars and I got hired as an event planner.
Okay.
And the timing worked in such a way that it was right around the .com boom. So I was able to kind of get into tech as an event planner back when companies were throwing these big events. And through my career in marketing for tech, people figured out I could write based on my, college education, all of that. And I wound up getting into strategic marketing for a software company. I always did photography kind of for fun, but I was never a film girl. I never did the dark room. It was always dropping off my film to get double prints, right? And hoping
Double
they came
prints. Oh
out,
my gosh, yes.
right? And which I still have. I need to go through those and purge a little bit.
Ooh, that would be fun.
And I was with the same tech company for years in their marketing department and made a name for myself there. So as the years went on, I decided I want to do this kind of a little less and focus on photography. And the way this came about is my sister had kids and they got to an age where they were too fast for my point and shoot. And so I looked at my husband and said, I want to get a good fast camera. And we know a lot of photography wonks in our circle. And his response was, not a problem. Let's do this. I just don't want you to turn into one of those lens people.
Oh, right. I've heard this part before.
Fast forward.
What that means.
Fast forward. Now we have the lenses, we have the studio lights, we have the, all of the whole thing. So I was doing half and half. My company very graciously allowed me to go to halftime. That was not
Nice.
policy, but again, I had been there a long time. I'd made a name. And in tech, as we know, layoffs are kind of part of the culture, sadly. And a round of layoffs was announced, and I said, "Okay, I'm gone. I'm half-time. My champion has left the building. I haven't met the new VP yet." And it did. No surprise to anyone. And I was really kind of lucky to be able to say, okay, now what do I want to do?
Yeah.
Do I want to go back into this? Do I want to get another corporate job? Do I want to focus on the photography that I've kind of been doing half-cocked for a number of years? And I was really lucky and privileged, and I count my blessings that we were in a place where I was able to say, let's see if we can make this work. And I haven't looked back.
Awesome. So, and how long ago was that? How many years ago?
Getting close to 10 since it became all that I'm doing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And how fortunate, so it was before all the COVID stuff. That was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And so you were able to kind of make that decision, get established, have your situation figured out before everything went wonky, crazy.
Ish. I am not going to claim that I had my situation figured out that quickly. It's a very different experience to go from working for someone else to working for yourself.
Yeah.
And I was in marketing. I should know how this works, right? Marketing yourself is a very, very different thing than marketing a company.
For sure, especially a corporation that has a history. I mean, like you said, you'd been there for a long time. In my corporate world, I was in facilities. And so I worked with the branding people and stuff to do signage projects and all of that kind of stuff. And this is why we get along so well, because I always thought my second chapter was going to be in marketing.
Okay.
in corporate marketing and branding. There's parameters and there's guidelines and there's a structure already created that you follow and update. But when you're creating it for yourself, how much time do you spend to create it? You just kind of jump, right? Yeah.
And I know that photography isn't unique this way. There's a lot of industries right now where, people say, oh, I have a camera, hence I'm a photographer. Or I have a phone, hence I'm a photographer. Or I have an online design membership, hence I'm a graphic designer, right? So there's all of these kind of different things. And I had to learn what it meant to be a professional high-level photographer.
Yeah.
And I found a photography education platform that changed my world, really focused on the way that I wanted to take photos. And talked about pricing. Pricing is hard when you're going out on your own, figuring out the value and what you're offering and all of the things. And I was actually very lucky, and I got to do a lot of that really focused during COVID. When I first started in photography, I was a shoot and burn photographer. It was not a viable business. And
what does that mean when you say shoot and burn photographer? What does that mean?
A shoot and burn photographer is when you meet with a client. It's at a low price point. You give them all their digitals, and they go.
That's the end of it.
And that's the end of it.
Okay.
And I realized that I wasn't enjoying that kind of photography. And I had this, years long, because when COVID hit, I shut down like some more than I think a lot of other people. And people are like, you can come out now. I don't want to. And I really drilled down into how to create a portrait experience for folks when they come into the studio, and switch to being a studio photographer and really niching down and saying, I don't enjoy event photography as much. I don't want to focus on that anymore. And I was lucky in that the photography education platform I had so many wonderful videos and online courses, and I could keep busy for years just kind of learning. And I did, because I was very much an in-person business and could not do that for a number of years. I could not convert to video, to Zoom.
Right.
To virtual.
So talk about how you're saying you're learning like these different ways, and the experience deciding that you want to really focus on the client experience.
Yes.
Part. Talk about what that's like. Like, how are you differentiated from what other people might have experienced from other photographers?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I will. I will say straight off the bat, there is nothing worse than standing by yourself in front of a camera. Like walking in the door saying, hi, my name is Suszi, go stand there, and clicking. As I'm talking to clients and to leads, I say, if you remember when Facebook first launched, every profile photo was somebody where you could very visibly see they had cut somebody else out of the photo. Because that's when we're most comfortable, right? We're being ourselves, we're with our friends, we're doing our thing, and standing by yourself is hard. And if you've got any sort of, I don't like my this, or I'm not confident, or whatnot, it's tough. I don't know what to do with my hands. I can't tell you how many times I hear, I don't know what to do with my hands. So I decided I wanted to create an environment where people walk in the door and start to feel comfortable before the camera even comes out. While I do photograph men, the bulk of my clients are women. They are usually business owners, solopreneurs, fempreneurs, people who know that showing themselves to the world is a critical part of marketing. Their logos aren't going to carry the weight, right? We're not one of those big corporate entities where we see the logo or we see the colors and say, we know what that is. And who have different channels that they use, social media, blogging, podcasts, all of these things where they want multiple photos that are on brand, but that they're not using the same photo for everything, so that people get tired of seeing their faces.
Or even if we get tired of seeing our own faces.
Own faces. Yeah, seriously.
Which is probably more accurate even, right?
Oh my God. Seriously. I in fact, and we might get to this a little later, I need new photos. Like mine are, a few years old now, and I've kind of come into my own brand a little bit more since I got them taken, and it's time to upgrade. But so I've created this experience for my clients where we meet beforehand. We do a Zoom, much like you and I are doing, to talk about them and what they're looking for and what they want to do, and how they want to do it and what it means. And then as part of my session offering, I offer a 1-hour wardrobe consultation with an image consultant. And that person, Shelley Golden, I'll give her a shout out. She's an amazing stylist and image consultant. Will go through their closets with them and say, here are the colors that work for you. Here are the shapes that work for you. And more importantly, from my perspective, and here's what works on camera. Because they are not always the same thing. So they get that opportunity. Come in with multiple outfits. We do multiple outfit changes. And when they arrive in the studio, they get professional hair and makeup. So it is somebody really and all of my branding clients are like, I'm a little nervous. I don't wear a lot of makeup. I want to look like myself. And Michelle Montez, my makeup artist, who again, another shout out, fabulous, fabulous talent, listens to that and creates a makeup look for them that is natural, looks like them, but again, translates to being on camera. I know you have theater connections, so you know theater makeup, right? Like it's a different.
Right. Well, and I've gone through this process for photo
Yeah.
shoots for,
Yeah.
headshot projects as well. And same thing. It's like, yeah, the way that a professional stylist, makeup artist can see you and know how to have you show up as your best self, whether
Right.
it's for an event or for a photography session. Like it's different result, it's a different process, but they have the tools and the experience and the perspective of a different person's point of view than what you're used to seeing in the mirror, which I think is probably the biggest part of it, which is the value of having professional photos too.
Right.
Is, we all take selfies and we know maybe how we are happiest with our own selfies. But as soon as someone else is taking pictures, we're like feeling like out of control and therefore uncomfortable. And so, but a professional, like that's like at a party, someone's taking pictures.
Right.
But when you go for professional photography, having that experience be from start to finish, knowing that you have professionals behind you the entire way, culminating with this time in front of the camera from you, like there's nothing like it.
And one of the added bonuses, which isn't even part of that whole thing, is that while my clients are getting their hair and makeup done, we can just sit and chit chat.
Yeah. Talk more.
So we talk more, we get to know each other. So before the camera even gets out, we're kind of hanging out. We're having fun together. It's not you're walking in and a stranger snapping photos at you. I provide a nosh because it usually goes over lunch. So before the lipstick, we gotta, get a little food in everybody. I've got that.
In you.
Yeah. And we just kind of hang out. We make it fun. And
you do like a one person a day. Like it's not like you have a bunch of clients in a row, right? It's a whole like day or a half day, but in the middle of the day kind of experience.
Exactly. As long as the client wants to be there. So the client drives the time. I think I think we've talked about this. I have a full studio wardrobe.
Yeah.
Of kind of fun dress-up-y kind of things. And I offer that to all my clients. I'm like, okay, we took all your brand photos. We've got those. Do you want to have fun?
Yeah.
Do you want to play? Some people take me up on it. Some people are like, no, I'm just here for the business. Thank you very much. Others are like, oh my God, look at all that floof. And I want to wear the feathers and I want to wear the headpiece. And we just have fun at the end.
Headpiece. Oh my God.
Oh my God. I love headpieces.
How fun.
Oh yeah. And flowers and crowns and all of the things. And then at the end, once my client is getting back into the clothes they're going to wear home, I am immediately downloading all of their photos and we are going through them together. So before they leave, they are choosing the ones they want.
Wow,
and
so fast.
Super fast. And then we talk about how they want to be retouched.
Okay.
Some people are like, I'm really insecure about this eyebrow. Right. And some people are like,
match, right?
Right. And some people are like, very minimal, every wrinkle, every spot. This is who I am. Leave it.
Yeah. Well,
and so we talk about that.
Right. Like that might be a very integral part of, maybe you talk about healthy aging and, the anti-diet culture or whatever, if that's really important. I'm thinking about someone specifically who's a speaker and she recently had new pictures, as I can tell, because they're very current compared to, 4 years ago.
Right.
Picture. I'm like, she looks different. She looks more wrinkly, but she looks amazing and her whole thing is about being, vibrant as you age.
Exactly.
So like, don't polish it too much. But then there's other folks who are just like,
this.
Right. This.
And it's funny how many people walk into my studio saying, can you make me look younger? Can you make me look thinner?
Yeah.
And,
shoot from above.
With the whole younger thing, my first question is, do you really want to go back? Because I was a hot mess when I was younger. Like, own the fact that you're probably in a much better place now. And you don't, you don't want to go back. And for the folks who want to look thinner, that's all about posing. There are poses that can kind of hide and do the things. And other people come in going, this is me. This is my body. There is just no need to do anything. I am comfortable in that experience.
Yeah, I love it.
And we talk about all those things And so that by the time their final photos come to them, they know they get exactly what they are expecting plus.
Yeah.
And I offer all those photos in different sizes and different formats and in banners and all of the things so that that cross-channel, cross-media usage
So you're
is
doing like a banner, someone might, have their photo kind of off to one side, but you're
right.
going to send them the banner whole, like correct format size and everything.
Every banner on every site is a
It's all
different
different
size,
sizes. I know,
but
it's crazy.
I will send them a banner and then they can always come to me saying, I need this. Can you resize it?
Yeah.
But, things like to me that are like so super easy, extending a banner, that is something that people who don't do photography, who don't do design, that could be really, really stressful.
Yeah.
It's like, oh
So
my
I
God,
guess,
that'll take me 3 minutes. Just send it to me. I'll resize it.
is that like your marketing background that allows you to like comprehend? Because I haven't heard of a photographer who offers more than just like, here's the photo.
It was a lot of what
Maybe
I
it's more,
learned.
yeah. Oh,
And
okay.
I also, and I talked about like what are some of the bold decisions.
Yeah.
I made a bold decision that when I wasn't necessarily feeling my best, I went and had my own photos done. And I found a mentor and a photographer that I had been following for years, is not in my state, but she was going to be at a conference I was at, and signed up to get the full treatment from her.
Awesome.
A, terrifying. B, super fun. And C, kind of learned when she delivered to me, I'm like, that's brilliant. I love how, I love all the ways I can use this. And just learned so much about what it feels like to be on the other side of the camera.
Oh, that's great.
And also what it feels like to pay for a service and pay for an experience.
Yeah.
So as I went into this, I'm like, wow, that's a lot of money to spend on me. Like I will spend that on other people, but for me to have a day like that, that seems, ooh, do I deserve that? Do I need it? Can I justify it? And I've done it a couple times now. And the first time I justified it totally like, oh my God, that was the best learning experience. I learned so much. And then the second time I went is I got great photos and I feel awesome and totally worth it because people are seeing me now. I'm putting myself out there and I am a part of my own brand.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons I want to update them. I never got any photos taken in glasses, and I'm a big glasses girl. I change them all the time, as you know. Like, I need a bunch that kind of just show me going big and bold.
As you show up every day.
Yeah.
Right? As opposed to this like perfect or
exactly
whatever. Yeah.
So that's on my to-do list.
Will you go back to the same gal again?
Probably not, just because I am very, very fortunate. I know a lot of wonderful photographers.
You have a lot of community.
I have a lot of contacts here locally that I can work with. And that's actually, I love the spirit of cooperation over competition. So, I don't market myself to be a photographer that people travel to see. I would much rather say, oh, you're in Asheville. Don't come here. I know a great, phenomenal photographer in Asheville. Let me give you her information. So if I had the opportunity to be in the same place and time and city as Sarai, who did my photos, who is just amazing, absolutely, I would go back to her in a heartbeat. But again, since I'm not traveling
more
for
likely a Bay Area based person somewhere. Yeah. And you've talked with me personally, we've talked about this community of photographers that you're connected with and you do things together and you have days that you spend together and stuff. And so talk about the community, but as a photographer, you have your support folks, Michelle, Shelley, but you're the delivery person.
Right.
And it sounds like you're doing not only the photography, but the after photography, everything yourself too. You're not having someone do editing. You're not having someone create the banners for you based on the photos to give to your client. You're doing it yourself. So with your photography community that you have, talk about that value. Because I know the other thing we haven't touched on is you do branding photography, but you also do kind of fine art photography, for lack of a better term. Is that the right term? Or just creative photography?
Creative photography. Fine art sometimes has a boudoir/nudity.
Oh, gotcha.
Depending on who you talk to. It's one of those weird terms
but creative, based on the things that I've seen you have created.
Yes.
So talk about the community factor for you in what photography means to you.
Awesome. Thank you. Yes, I love it. I'm one of those weird photographers. I love retouching. To me, that is part of the artistry. It's part of the creation. A lot of photographers outsource, and outsourcers, you work with your outsourcer to make sure that they know your style. Like, it is a very intimate relationship.
Yeah.
And so I do not belittle that at all, but I actually have fun kind of doing that. I enjoy it very much. As you said, I have this community that I started like meeting through meetups of all things, where people would open up their studio saying, I have a model, I have a theme, and multiple photographers come in, pay the model. And so I did a number of those things. I also got to do some creative photography at the conferences I went to, and started saying, this is somewhere where I can just be my most creative. When I'm taking brand photos, if I were taking your brand photos, I couldn't come to you saying, and what if we did this with your makeup? And then we did this with your hair. And that's not my role. And so with creative, it's entirely collaborative. Michelle saying, I'm thinking of this for makeup, and really bold colors and streaks and things. And the model saying, either being a part of the process or being just saying, hey, whatever you guys want to do, kind of coming up with, let's do this look. What about this headpiece? Or I have this concept. Great. How do we find all of the fabrics and things to bring that concept to life? And that is kind of what I do when I just need a creative outlet. And it is so fun and so glorious. And I have had the privilege of showing my creative work. I partnered with an abstract photographer by the name of Brandon Stauffer, and we created a gallery show where we paired one of my portraits with his abstract photography to tell a different story. And we showed that in a couple different galleries here in the Bay Area. I'm hoping to find more, but have not had the time to go research where we can show. And it was it was just a very different way of exploring photography, and that was super fun.
Okay, well, so make sure you tell me when that happens, because I'm there.
I will do.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. And it reminds me of, in San Francisco, they have that like flower show where it's like there's a piece of art and then they make flower arrangements.
It was exactly like that.
Yeah.
And we had a couple people make that comparison.
Oh, really?
And his abstract work was phenomenal. And I will say that he did the lion's share of kind of taking my portraits and, in most cases, he would create an abstract to match it. In some cases, I would say, oh my God, look at this. They already match. And in some cases, I would color grade my photos to match his. But yeah, it was super fun.
Yeah, that's super fun. And having you talk about this, and I'm glad that I asked the question, because having you talk about it just shows you that, many of us are really passionate about the joy that our work brings to us. And while your work, like client work, isn't that creative outlet, but it's all intertwined, right? It's the act of creating imagery, whether it's for a client that you can be proud of because you help them show up, versus for yourself or for the model or for a gallery or whatever. Same thing though. You're creating this image for this purpose, and it sounds like you are just so joyful and like so fun. Who wouldn't want to work with you?
Oh, you are so kind. I absolutely love it. And I will say, it always cracks me up because I'm a pretty casual person. And one of the struggles I went through when I launched this is I'm offering this experience. It's very elegant. It's very, and I can think of a lot of wonderful adjectives to describe myself. So this is not self-deprecating in any way. I am not elegant. I am not glamour. Like, that's just not my That's not my brand. That's not who I am. So here I am just working with these women and making sure that they feel beautiful and at their best. And I'm in overalls and a tank top and I'm barefoot. And because I'm running around, I'm moving. It's not about me.
Yeah.
And
they're the ones that are supposed to look like glistening, but for a good reason.
Exactly.
And
when I finally figured out that I don't need to welcome them in like they're welcome to my studio, right? That's not me. Like, come on in. We're gonna have fun. And I'm just really lucky. I mean, that's really all I keep saying when I'm doing this is I'm just so lucky to do what I do. Yeah. And to have had this kind of second chapter opportunity to focus on this. And I meet so many fabulous, fierce, successful, just really, really awesome women. And if I can make them leave the studio with images that say, heck yeah, then I've accomplished something. And I've met so many wonderful people through it and love following their businesses and their careers and have become friends with many of them.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And being able to be a piece of their development and the next steps for them. And like as a coach, I always said that, my goal is to help people move forward, right? Coaching wise from where they are. But I didn't realize when I started coaching that I wanted to change the world. And the reason that that's a world changing act and what you're doing is the same is that the more women we can help up-level themselves to reach more people, that those people can up-level themselves in whatever it is, whether it's a coaching thing or a product that helps someone bring joy to someone else, right? The ripples of all of those points of contact from you to your client, to their clients, to that, because if it's women in business, this is how the world changes.
I love that. I've never really thought of it that way. So thank you. That's a beautiful way of kind of thinking about it. And, women have changed the world, are changing the world, and will continue to change the world.
Yep.
And the more we can kind of put ourselves out there and empower ourselves to do things is
100%
is exciting. So
yes, absolutely. Well, I think that's probably a great place for us to wrap up. We're changing the world, and that's just the way it is. And
I love that.
Yeah. This is an evergreen situation. So what we know about you as a photographer is that photography is available whenever it is that is right for you to have it. So we'll make sure that people know how to reach you, how to find out more, get your website on there, your portfolio of amazing women behind there. By the way, that picture of Marie is amazing. I don't know if I've seen that one before.
Thank you. I actually think you may be mixing somebody else up.
Because, really?
Yeah, it's not Marie. I know which one you're talking about, but that is actually not Marie.
Oh, how funny. Okay, well, maybe it's just because I'm blind. But
well, and they're small behind you, and so
but they're all lovely. And I particularly like the one where the hair is in her face, because that's so interesting and fun.
I had so much fun with that one. And as somebody who has not as much hair as she might like, when I have clients who have the hair, I'm like, come on, let's play with it. And that was a great culmination. That's a great example of, we did a full brand shoot and at the end said, let's do some that are a little bit more casual and fun and artistic.
Yeah, I love it. And so obviously not everyone's listening on Zoom, but if you check out on the YouTube channel, you'll see Suszi's background where she's got a number of her clients on her background, some of who I've met before and others who just are amazingly beautiful, and the whole thing is just all great. So I'm so thrilled that we had a chance to have this conversation today, my friend. And I can't wait.
You too. And I'm so grateful to all that you do and in bringing the community together and supporting the folks in your community. And you are awesome. And I feel like I just bled all over this today, but I really just love chatting with you, and you were just so awesome.
Well, that was the point, is for you to come and tell us all about you. And because when we're talking about women being bold and brilliant, like that's the podcast, right? Bold and brilliant. The changes that you made, the way that you decided to adjust how you brought this service to your clients, but just even the whole we all have this like linear, semi-linear, path that we're on from who we were to where we were to then who we became and who we are now. And it's never straight line, and it's always interesting. And to have someone like yourself who's clearly so joyful about, it's just the word that keeps coming back, because your energy is so infectious when you're talking about what you do, that it's like you can't deny that it's the right place for you. And that makes
you're wonderful. Thank you. As I said, I am
blessed.
Grateful every day that
Yes.
I get to do this, and it's a joy, and working with people, as you know, bringing a whole community together, right? Just bringing fabulous people together to have an experience was
fantastic.
Just everything. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you again. And I guess we're done. Thanks, Suzi. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you for listening to the Bold and Brilliant podcast. I'm your host, Tracy Root, and I want to invite you to check out the show notes, find out where you can connect with our guests, find out more about what I and the Gather community have to offer you, and be sure to subscribe to this podcast on your favorite platform. Thanks so much.